Welcome, I'm Melinda Akinlami. Tonight, police in Kaduna arrest 2 persons allegedly behind the kidnap of 6 students and 2 teachers of Engravers College in Jukun local government area of Kaduna State. Farmers and herders sign peace agreement to end frequent clashes in Adamawa State. Nigeria Railway Corporation begins free train ride on the Lagos-Ibadan rail line from today till March 2020 as the Federal Ministry of Works reopens the Bega end of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway tomorrow. And North Korea threatens Japan with real ballistic missile following criticism over her launch of 2 projectiles on Thursday.
On Business News tonight, financial experts recommends the use of off-balance sheet financing model by the federal government to ease the burden of debt obligations.
On sports news, Nigeria's Aruna Quadri crashes out of the ITTF Men's World Cup in China to a Japanese teenager.
Two suspected abductors of 6 students and 2 teachers of Engravers College in Jukun local government area of Kaduna State have been arrested by operatives of the State Police Command. The victims were abducted from their school on October the 3rd and released on October the 26th. Now, the command says 37 other suspected criminals, including a 5-man kidnap gang that killed their victims after collecting a 2 million naira ransom, have also been picked up. The spokesperson of the command, Mr. Yakubu Sabo, explains that the security guard of the Engravers College was also arrested for alleged conspiracy in the abduction of the students.
Part of the suspects that will parade to you this afternoon are the ones that are involved in the Engravers College kidnap, where 6 female students and 2 members of staff were also kidnapped. We have arrested some suspects, and they are part of the suspects to be paraded to you this afternoon. We equally have some suspects among the suspects to be paraded this afternoon that were involved in kidnapping incident at Kangimi, where after collecting the sum of 2.8 million as ransom, they equally killed the 2 victims in their possession.
Terrorists hibernating in Arege, Metele and Duguri areas have been successfully cleared, and that's according to the Multinational Joint Task Force. This has enabled a multi-sector link-up operation of troops from Nigeria, Chad and Niger around Kamadogu River in Niger Republic. According to the MJTF, Boko Haram terrorists suffered severe human and equipment losses during the operation. 3 MJTF personnel were injured in the operation, and they are responding to treatment in a hospital. Staying with security issues, the Minister of Defense has stressed the need for the strengthening of interagency cooperation amongst Nigerian armed forces to effectively fight all forms of insecurity in the country. The minister, who was speaking at the Air Force Base in Bauchi during the training of the helicopter backdoor gunners and Special Forces Course 5, applauded the Nigerian Air Force for the exercise. Our correspondent, Hajara Aliu, has this report.
Live ammunition from the air and the ground fired at the commando village of the Nigerian Air Force Base in Bauchi. It is a joint operation between the Air Force and the police to flush out bandits. The Minister of Defense, the Chief of Air Staff, and the Inspector General of Police watched the display of skills and tactics by their men and officers who have just concluded a helicopter backdoor gunners course in Bauchi. 162 officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force replaced their hairdressers with the red beret. a sign that they are welcome to the Panther family, who are also graduates of the Special Forces course.
Countering these threats require a different approach, including the use of special operational forces. I therefore commend the Chief of Air Staff for his effort at rapidly developing the capabilities for special operation forces with the training of over 1,000 regimental personnel who are being deployed in various theater operations.
We decided to create a regiment training center annex at Bauchi for the training of special forces. The objective is to ensure that personnel trained in a realistic northeast environment, which is currently the hotbed of our security challenges. I'm happy to observe that our special forces personnel and the backdoor gunners have performed commendably well when deployed for operations in conjunction with other security agencies.
This is the kind of synergy that should provide firepower to the fight against insecurity in the country, and the police boss is confident of that.
The Nigerian Air Force has been assisting the police in capacity building. They have taken our helicopters and then converted it to a fighting helicopter where guns are mounted on the helicopter to enable us fight banditry in this country. And we're happy. I'm happy, very happy with what I've seen. We have a police force now that has the capacity to take the fight to the dent of the bandits.
Going forward, these graduates will be deployed for special operations and armed with modern equipment. These men are expected to combat criminality effectively. Hajira Aliyu, Channels Television News.
In Kogi State, the police is investigating an attack on Federal Road Safety Corps officials traveling from Abuja to Lagos on the Lokoja-Okene Highway. According to the Kogi State Command, bandits ambushed the vehicle of the FRSC officers in Oshawa, a town close to Lokoja, the state capital, killing the driver and injuring other officers. The armed men were reported to have opened fire on sighting the marked vehicle and shot the driver dead in the head. The attack occurred after players and the coaching crew of FC Fayumba were attacked by gunmen said to be armed robbers on their way to honor an MPFL Match Day 6 clash against Jigawa Golden Stars. And staying in Kogi State, collation of results is currently ongoing in the Kogi West senatorial supplementary elections conducted today by the Independent National Electoral Commission in 53 polling units across the state. The result of the election is expected to be announced by the electoral umpire as soon as the collation is completed at the INEC office in Lokoja, the state capital. INEC had announced the supplementary poll after the rerun election on November the 16th failed to produce a winner in the process said to have been marred by violence and other alleged electoral malpractices. Following the rerun election, the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Dino Milaye, had petitioned the electoral umpire over the alleged electoral offences and later followed it with another petition seeking the cancellation of today's supplementary election. However, INEC's Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Festus Okoye, insisted that the Commission will go ahead with the exercise despite the petition from Mr. Milaye. And over in Adamawa State, farmers and herders in Bole community of Yola South local government area have signed a peace accord towards ensuring peaceful coexistence in the community. The peace treaty, at the instance of the British Council's Managing Conflict in Nigeria, is in collaboration with the European Union. The objective is to prevent conflict and effectively resolve disputes between the two groups within the same community.
Clashes between farmers and herdsmen in the country, especially in the northern region, have resulted in loss of many lives, villages razed down and thousands displaced. Bole community in Yola South local government area of Adamawa has had its fair share of these conflicts. In order to put a stop to these attacks, both parties, as well as traditional rulers and other concerned persons, gather for the signing of a peace accord. The intervention is an initiative of the Managing Conflict in Nigeria, a program put in place by the European Union and British Council to support Nigerians with conflict resolution at both state and community level.
Having noticed that there are tensions within the communities of Pole between farmers and herders to support a reconciliation process, and the MCN program supported since last year by training, supporting in the training of mediation committees and carrying out the mediation activities between farmers and herders. And to a certain level, they have agreed on so many things: times to farm, times to herd, and punishments of those that have deviated. And what we are witnessing today is the formal signing agreement of that event.
To avoid the war happening in Pole, we decided something must be done. Something really needs to be done. So we sat down and came up with a concept of an intervention that is to create a dialogue between the herders and farmers of Pole area. And doing that, they will be able to understand each other, and at least that might ease down the problem.
A member of the mediation committee reads the Riot Act.
Subject to the agreement, grazing and cattle activities shall resume on the 31st of November, it should be 30th November of each year, while small ruminant animals shall be tamed in the month of June each year. Farmers and herders shall not carry arms, weapons, or any items intended to cause harm to another person while carrying out the activity during the rainy season. This shall be binding upon the residents of the community, including the hosted IDPs. Any person found in violation of this shall pay a fine of 5,000 naira only.
While farmers, herdsmen, and community members celebrate the intervention and look forward to a peaceful coexistence, it is expected that the reunion is one that has come to stay.
The controversies trailing the social media bill continues, and the National Human Rights Commission says it's not in support of any law that will gag Nigerians. The executive of the commission, that's Mr. Tony Ojukwu, said there are enough laws in the Constitution that can be used against anyone who crosses the line as far as social media is concerned. He, however, appealed to Nigerians to be careful in the use of social media, as no right is absolute.
For the media space, shrinking of the media space, we stand with Nigerians, and we believe that the media space should be free. People should be able to air their views. In airing those views, we also urge those who exercise their rights to be mindful of the rights of others. In exercising our freedom to express ourselves, we believe that those freedoms should be expressed and utilized responsibly. And we will not encourage irresponsible conduct on the part of Nigerians, but we don't support the gagging of Nigerians in any way possible. But Nigerians must be mindful of use of their freedom, because where your freedom begins is where another person's own stops. So we urge the users of social media to show commitment to responsibility, and if they exceed their bounds, the laws are also there.
In part two, after the break, stakeholders in the power sector call for recapitalization of distribution companies to resolve the challenge of poor electricity supply in the country. That's in a moment. Stay with us.